Hi, my name is Ben. I run a small studio in New Jersey called Pixel Please. We just released a game into the App Store, and you all know it right favor. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So I am a producer. I'm kind of programming right now out of necessity. I worked as a producer in the games industry for 7 to 8 years for Namco and Gaia Online, and I started the production of it. So I've been kind of doing production for a while.
My name is Shahid Khoury, and I work as a technical graduate for a small company in Microsoft. That's my teacher over here. I have about... I thought you were going to show it at the time. I do, yes, I am. As part of my job as technical graduate, I'd like to hear from any developers to hear what games they're currently working on for. As you guys are probably interested to hear in the gaming world, whether you're entering as an indie developer or wanting to go into AAA, have your questions answered. And I come from a career in making business applications, which was kind of boring for me, so I started doing indie games on the side, and I found myself in a position to
What is it, just out of curiosity, what is a technical advantage?
Good question. The technical advantage was we heal people. No, we don't. So we like to help people finish their apps or games to bring their idea into fruition. Let's say you're working on a Unity game and you want your idea to bring it to market. We'll help you from inception to publishing and promotion as well. You don't finish your team and code the game day by day, but we'll advise you and put on the software and hardware to get it all done.
My name is Ellen Stern. I'm a voice actress, I'm an actress, I'm also a director and a writer. I started, it's hard to, we're not connected at the hip, but we are connected at the hip. Actually, the whole sad story, or very happy story, started 34 years ago when I met this gentleman next to me. 32 years ago yesterday, we got married. Honey, it happened in So anyhow, we got married, and I was starring in the film, and following the film, one of the people in the film asked me if I'd like to do some voice work, and I said, yeah, do you have any male characters in the film? And I said, of course there's male characters. You know, there's always 2 females in a million male characters. But, so anyhow, not in this one. So anyhow, Richard and I both went to the audition. We both got it. That was over 30 years ago, and it's been just a tumbling on down the road event ever since. I'm currently in Wrinkles. I'm starring in it with Martin Sheen. It's an animated feature. Martin Sheen, Matthew Modine, and George Coe. And let me see what else. We started off in Robotech. I was in Dungeon Unicorn. I played Monster Carbine. Let me see, games, run to games. Star Ocean 1 and 2, Blue Dragon, thank you. Jade Cocoon, I directed it. Thank you. And then somebody came up to me with, what was it, Neo players, it's
What are your
really.
favorites? I can do
Yeah, we've done a bunch, it's just so hard to remember, it's 3 years of work, but she doesn't know. Yeah, I'm jealous that I didn't think of that first. But anyhow, I'm in a bunch of games and a bunch of animations, and I'm going to let Richard talk.
You're talking, because you said you're going to let everybody talk, and that's the first time that's ever happened.
No contraire.
Hi, I'm Richard Dunbar, and I've been doing this for a long time. I started out in Robo Texas with Ellen as well, and I've been in a lot of games. I'm in probably almost every single game franchise there is. Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Skyrim, Star Wars, Transformers, I gotta look at my notes here. Star Wars, yeah, Star Wars games. Looking at, for my, yeah, I was the guy in Canada, I heard. I directed the Dragon for Microsoft, and that was a lot of fun. And then I directed SmackDown versus Raw. One of my favorites, though, is the Joker in 3 different Batman games. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites. I'm in a new one right now called Infinite Crisis, which is happening. And I'm the voice of George Hammond in the new Stargate games that are coming out. Raiden, Mortal Kombat. I co-directed Arkham Origins that just came out. And just a whole bunch of other stuff I want to bore you with. League of Legends, the World of Warcraft, and just on and on and on. There's a lot of stuff.
So again, I'm keeping here, and I'm going to folks that help put the team together. And again, I appreciate you guys coming down. You guys got a great panel, so we're going to do a short. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. You're going to go at it, and then we're going to do Q&A, kind of remember the last one. So I guess right off the top, within your specific, I don't think genre or field, your specific field, how does somebody get started? So we can just go down the line and check the game.
I don't know.
What's the best way? How can somebody that has zero to little knowledge of the field be able to start? What's the best path to take to start going on that?
So this is a general recommendation for anyone getting into any field in gaming. And I said this to anyone just loving gaming isn't good enough. That's not what you need to be successful in a career in gaming. What you need is you need a shippable skill. You need something that you can bring to a company that you are passionate about and be passionate about games. Because say you're a great programmer, you come with a great, a great skill set. You can be making a lot more money by doing something else. Say you're an awesome artist. You can make a lot more money than an awesome artist doing something else. Games is not a great place to make money. But I love making games. I can't do anything else. I wouldn't do anything else. But what I would say is when you're getting started and you're taking your portfolios and taking your results to companies, make sure you are active at what you want to do, and make sure that you're passionate about what you want to do. If that applies to any discipline, like programming, art, voice acting, everything else. They can be making more money doing all of the movies than they can doing games. That's what I did. Practice.
So my answer to that is I would recommend both working for a company like Microsoft and also being an indie developer myself. It's a little crazy here, but as time for our event. So for those of you who are looking for jobs in the AAA industry, or whether you're doing community development, the path to that is really their own path. What does that mean? It means to find out something that you're good at. So if you find out, don't chase your money and family and make your Uber. Think about the skills you have. Let's say you're good at art, or you want to be good at art. So it doesn't have to be something you are good at today. It's something you really want to do, and you feel that you can excel in. Then proceed with that, and see if you can make something, a portfolio that you can maybe publish online or outsource, and you can show it to a top company you can get done there. And if you're continuing to work at your current day job, and you'd like to continue making indie games inside, do that as well. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think people don't know direction. So if someone just came home from a Call of Duty project and quit his job just to make an indie game with a bunch of friends. And on the flip side, the indie developers succeed in the indie game, helping now to have a great portfolio to apply. So again, find out what you do best, and don't worry about what you're going to make in the game industry. Find what you do best.
Well, of course, we come at it from voice acting. But before we were voice actors, we were actors. We still are actors, and we try and do many Hollywood movies. But it still doesn't pay. I'm half joking and half serious, because the truth of the matter is that it's a very, very competitive market. And we are at the top of the market, and feel every time you have to go in, you have to audition and hope that you're the one that's chosen. How many of you want to be voice actors? Well, the good news is that younger people are still being sought after. The hero voices are the main voices that they look for, which are the voices of the young men. Women, it's very, very tough, because there's like a couple of roles for women and a gazillion for men. So you have to be very, very well versed in a very big range. So it's not just being able to do one character, so you've got one voice. The only time it really does work is if you have a really high voice, and this is the way you sound all the time, and people will cast you based on that voice. But the truth of the matter is that for all the voice characters that we have done, they all start with good acting skills. So the best advice that I can give you is go and take acting classes. Because if you know how to create a character, then you'll know how to create a character for voice work. You don't have the liberty of studying the character and doing a lot of research beforehand. They give you like a Bible, which is basically, this is what the whole show is about, and this is what your character is about. Boom, go. You've got 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes in the booth to audition. And if you do not go in there with your game on, being really, really strong, forget about it. They will never call you in again. So take acting classes, and there's a thing called voicebank.net. voicebank.net, and you can hear all the voice actors, all their voices, and they come on with like little minute panels where you can just hear how strong they are, and this is a competition. So do your research, go and learn, and take acting classes, and then take voice classes also. Thank you.
Go to medical school. Yeah, pretty much what Ella said. Become the best actor you can be. And that's the most important thing in voice acting, is acting. The cool thing about voice acting to me, as opposed to doing the big Hollywood movies, is that when you're in a movie or on camera, and I still do that sort of stuff as well. But when you're doing film acting, for the most part, you're playing yourself in a situation as a character. You're pretty much yourself. The thing that I love about voice acting is you can be any character that you can imagine vocally, and that's really a lot of fun. And to me, it's almost more acting than it is on-camera acting, because you can just be all of these crazy characters. When I walk in for an audition for an on-camera thing, they basically look at me and say, "Here's a big guy, and what are we going to do with this guy?" But when I go in and, I'm in the booth, I can be all kinds of characters. And my favorite thing is when I do a part and people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, I had no idea that was you." And that to me is a lot of fun. And I love to do the characters that I'm recognized for, the voice that I'm recognized for. But it's really fun for me to be these characters that people have no idea that it's me. So that's kind of the fun thing for me to do this stuff. Yes, you little white shirt. Yeah.
It ain't you the last guy who told me that. He should have known I'm the only joker around here.
No, really, I couldn't.
You're welcome. So, with regards to getting started and things of that nature, what are the kind of tools that you guys have used early on to kind of try to get it working? I mean, I know you mentioned voice bank, was it?
Voice thing,
Yeah, voice thing.
So I know it's kind of different for, voice acting than it is for some of the other, programmers and coders and things of that nature. But, within your field, what are some of the types of tools that some of you guys use to benefit you?
Yeah, I'll start. In the games industry, specifically in production film, it's almost 100% about networking. It's about who you can get your work in front of and be able to influence. You need a cheerleader. You need someone on your side. There's a couple ways to do that. You can use internships to be able to connect to the correct people. Now, I know a lot of people will take internships and will take QA jobs and things like that as an entry-level position, but they're afraid to step out of that role. What you need to do is you need to be able to get in front of the people that you need to get in front of and present yourself as someone that can help them do their job or can do that job. So if you get like an intern position at a, MTV Games, I'm just making this up now. But they're going to try to keep you doing a specific job and kind of keep you away from actual production crew a lot of the times. You need to find a way to go have lunch at the same places that these people are. Make sure you're bringing your work along with you. Make sure that people are aware that you have skills that you can present to them. That's how I've gotten jobs, is just being able to connect to the right people at the right time.
But I was looking for was more like a technical thing, like,
That's what I mean.
and that's what I was looking for. But I love that answer, and I wanted to say, I kind of want to ask you to say, persistent. If somebody tells you no, you got a pay tag, the personal shows, and keep moving, and then move to the next guy, and you said yes. That's a big thing, and I'm looking for both answers actually.
Okay,
I'm so happy you said that.
When you say a tool, I think like a set of tools that you can use to get it done.
So that's exactly it. Exactly. That's why the toolkit. As much as you're going to be using kind of a programming, Unity, or whatever it is you're going to be using, it's as much as a business acumen and you can learn to talk to people about advertising and marketing and things of that nature to be able to sell your games to community. So I'm so glad you said that.
As far as production tools go, they change every couple of years. By the time you learn one set of technologies, they're on something else. So it's really, really hard to know. I'm always learning something new. Like if someone came to me 5 years ago and was like, I know Unity out of them, I don't care what is that. Now Unity is in demand. If 5 years from now, Unity will do something that was something we used 5 years ago, and they'll be on to the next thing. So
learning
Well, yeah, right now, gaming is a good thing. Start looking ahead onto what's coming next. Like Objective-C was the big thing a couple of years ago, now it's, Android and script programming and HTML5 JavaScript. But by the time you get your head around that, they'll be on to something else. So just be aware that it always changes. Your skills are always obsolete.
So I like to answer that a little differently. So whatever skills you get out of the tools that you use, those skills carry over. So let's say you learn about game logic and how to make a game, think about making a game and abstract away the actual tools themselves. You'll find that these experiences you've made over the years will carry over to the next job or the next project you're working on. And tool-wise, there are specific tools today that are popular, so I'm going to mention a couple of them. So how many of you here have never worked in a game before? In a game industry or in practice? Okay, very good. Lots of them, right? If you're just starting out, you might be perplexed about all these programming languages, other things that are out there. From the low end, I would suggest using some visual tools available, and I'm not talking just Unity, so if you step a little backward. Construct 2 is a really easy tool to use, and it actually outputs HTML5 and JavaScript games. You can code them from scratch using a JavaScript framework, such as Syntax.js, that's the popular framework. But using Construct 2, you can output a game without any programming experience, but just have exposure to things that programmers need to know, like objects and variables and events and graphics and parallax and things that people use in real games. And you'll end up with a 2D game you can publish to virtually any platform out there, including Windows and iOS and Android and so on. In between, I would say, actually, let's go to the far end. Something that all professional AAA game developers use is C++. On the Microsoft side, DirectX is very popular, so you could pull up your Windows machine and use C++ DirectX. If you have a Mac, you can install Windows on it through a program called Parallel, and also install Visual Studio and use C++ and DirectX. If you're doing iPhone and Android, a couple of things you mentioned, Objective-C, the new language is called Swift from Apple. On the Java side, I understand you have programming language for Java. You can do all that, but that, again, requires a lot of programming. So the majority of you starting out, you have to find some sort of middle ground. And the middle ground is Unity. And Unity is a visual tool that lets you create both 2D and 3D games. And the back end does require some programming, but by doing the visual stuff with point and click and drag and drop, and importing objects and game objects into your game, you can leave the programming either to maybe a friend or partner who does the programming for you, or you can learn programming this way. What's a better way to learn programming than to have a visual tool that does a lot of the work for you, where you can code it. So I would say, look at those three things that I said: Construct 2, C++, and Unity in between. And whatever skills you learn today, you'll be able to work with the next tool.
So get really smart.
Do you mind if I just follow just a little bit? Because,
Yes.
what
You got it? Go ahead.
Okay. Just a small point. One thing I didn't say that is important to me, especially when you're applying to game industry jobs, is fundamentals. Like you mentioned, C++ and sort of the core fundamental of like programming fundamentals. Make sure you understand those if you're looking for specifically a programming job. If you're looking for a design job, then you have something like Construct and things to those natures. Do gear like towards I understand design. But if you're looking at the technology side, you're looking at like actually engineering jobs, actually programming jobs, then fundamentals, no C++, no C, no Java, know how all that stuff works.
Do you know how all that stuff works?
Sure. It's so interesting hearing both of you speak because it's a whole other language to us. No, I mean seriously. But by the same token, if you heard us speak, it's a whole other language to you. And so, using tools, you have to learn the language of wherever it is that you're going to be working. If you're going to be working technically, you have to know not only the language, but the tools that are necessary in order to be able to utilize it. So too, in voice acting, labials, plosives, things about the mic that are so essential. You can't just walk in and, you know, blast everyone away. You have to know mic technique. When you're a voice actor, the only tools outside of the mic that you have is you. So what you have to do is you have to take voice classes. I'm not talking singing, although singing classes are wonderful, but you have to know how to sustain a line, especially if the dialogue written has been, if you're dubbing it, you have to know how to sustain the line so that you don't run out of breath at the end and nobody understands what you're saying. You have to have the tools of your trade. Not only voice, but you have to have freedom of your body. When we go into booth, you can't have change in your pocket, you can't have anything jingly or clothes that make noise. All of this is picked up by the mic. So, but by the same token, if you're in a war with somebody, or if you're having a fight, and you have to know how to scream, no, you don't wear bracelets like that. You have to know how to scream. If I would do it straight into the mic, I'd blast you away, and more than that, I'd do popping noises, and the poor engineer, what he would have to deal with. So you have to know your mic technique and freedom of body, because even though we're in the booth, we still move. Our hands move, and we have freedom of body, but you still have to be on mic while you're doing this. And the other is your acting chops. You've got to know how to develop a character. Just to have the voice is not enough. You've got to know how to build the character. So even if you're doing one episode of an animated show, there is an arc to the character so that you begin at one place and you have a transition and you finish at another place. Every time you do a character, it's a 3-act play. You have a beginning, you have your exposition, then you have your problem, you have something you have to accomplish, and then you have your 3rd act, where you have your resolve. Sometimes you just go in and you're just a bird chirping in the tree. But even that, the bird chirping in the tree has to have a place that it's coming from. So you have to know how to develop your characters. You have to know how to have breath control, how to have good voice so that your voice doesn't run out of air at the end. And also, you have to know how to have good diction. Because one of the things that Richard and I are both directors in addition to being voice actors. And one of the things that you have to know how to do is how to project and not run out of air. So, and lots of times that happens. I'll tell you just a very, very quick story. I was directing Star Wars into the Navajo language. And Star Wars episode 4, A New Hope. And this was very, very important because it was the first time the Navajo language was going to be done on film and heard. So anyhow, I had all Navajo speakers, and but they weren't trained in acting at all. So I had one guy coming. This was when the stormtroopers were coming out, and they were bombing and shooting, and all this was happening. So I had one guy in the booth, and all he had to do was go, "I've been hit!" Well, the Navajos are very, very gentle people. And so I said, okay, you're going to hear 3 beeps, more tools for you. We work with a beep system. It's 3 beeps. On the 4th imaginary beep is when you start speaking. So it went beep. I said, okay, big and loud. I want you to yell out. Beep, beep, beep.